Hello everyone and welcome to Voice of the Box. Today I am in Portland, Oregon, and joining me today is Mike Hackman. Mike, first of all, thanks for taking the time and joining me today on Voice of the Box.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
In summary, and I know it's hard to do a lot of times, you're with Nike. How would you summarize your role if you bumped into someone on the street that didn't know you? You would tell them that you do?
Essentially what I do, I work in basketball sports marketing, so strictly on the boys side. So we basically market the Nike brand to the elite level community. So the elite level player, elite level coach, that the NBA scouts, college coaches, the elite community. Mm-hmm. So basically do that through staging of events, different initiatives, whether it's camps, skills camps, whether it's tournaments, and I basically do that here in the U.S. as well as different places around the world.
Obviously, it's a globally known brand that doesn't need any PR, but how long have you been there? And I guess I'm going to also ask you, how did you get your break into Nike? But first, maybe how long you've been in your role?
I've been in basketball sports marketing for 13 years. I got my break, essentially, I worked for the Indiana Sports Corporation, which was a local organizer. It's a not-for-profit company charged with marketing the city of Indianapolis through sports. So one of my events that I worked on was the Nike All-America Camp, basketball camp. That's how I got to know the folks at Nike. They hired me to help stage events.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, help stage events and kind of raise what they were doing.
So day in and day out, everyone's got challenges in their job, and I'm not here to focus on the negative, but just to kind of give my viewers a realistic snapshot of, hey, here's some of the challenges that either I face day to day or could be quarterly, not sure.
Sure.
Maybe you can shortlist that, of course, and I'll ask you the flip side in a moment, but what are some of the challenges that you face in your role? Some people might think, Nike, they don't need help to promote, to the elite basketball universe. What are some of the challenges?
Interesting question. Some of the for us, kind of the perception out there that it's Nike, kind of what you just said,
right?
That it's Nike, so we don't need, so we have all the money in the world, we have all the resources that we need to get done what we need to get done. But what anyone who works in a multinational corporation understands, there's, Nike's more like 500 different little companies, each with their own budget, each with their own agendas and those type of things. So a lot of the challenges are we don't have all the resources that people think we do. So being able to communicate that. A lot of people say, hey, we don't want money. I just want T-shirts. I just want shoes. Well, T-shirt and shoes are,
right,
is money. But a lot of the challenges, for any multinational, working in any multinational company, is working with those competing agendas, fighting for the budgets, fighting for,
right,
with the brand team, with the retail team, and things such as that. But
and obviously, and I don't want to dwell on that. Let's just quickly turn it around. Obviously, there's got to be a reason why you head into Beaverton and into your office every day. How would you shortlist, some of the challenges? There's got to be many, but what are some of the keys for you to keep you coming back every day?
Some of the positive,
some of the rewards,
some of the rewards, that type of thing. Well, every day is different. For the most part, it's in sports, it's in basketball, which I'm very passionate about. I've been fortunate enough, like I said, I've done events. Worked with events on every continent, just about. So I've been able to see the world because of the game of basketball and because of a company like Nike. So there's and then being able to work with a lot of those folks in basketball that are passionate about the game as well. So that's great.
I keep using the word shortlist, so you'll just bear with me. But if again you shortlist some of the skills that are required in your mind. You've been in it 13 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
Not to discredit the academic piece. This is geared towards students because that's obviously a requirement. But
right,
what are some of the other soft skills that you think are really, paramount to success in your type of a role?
Got to be able to multitask. I mean, today I worked on probably 6 different events, 6 different initiatives. You have to be creative, not only in what you think that the event could be, but creative in your solutions to the hurdles that you face. Passionate about what you're doing, being able to see the big picture and how all the little things will result in that big picture. I do a lot of event work, so when you talk about events, it's deadlines. So you got to meet those deadlines, and then understanding that, hey, if I don't meet that deadline, then X, Y, and Z is going to happen after that. So.
Again, this is going to sound negative. I don't want this to be, but again, with Nike and having had the luxury of talking with a few people there in the past, just for my show, misconceptions. People think, I'm assuming a lot of people think, hey, it's Nike. You're there's maybe just it's fun and giggles, which we all know it's a major consumer packaged good. It's more than that.
Right.
What's one thing maybe you get more than anything on the street or at a cocktail party or a social outing? You said, "Oh, you must ...
Part of it is you must be geniuses. A lot of when you look at all the things that fall in line with a lot of the events, initiatives, things with Nike.
Right.
We've been very fortunate with a lot of what we do, but there's a lot of, like anyone, like I said, it's more of a multinational thing than it is a Nike thing. All these different groups coming together, or trying to come together. So the end result that you see, a lot of times it might not be what was planned or what was designed. But it turned out pretty well, so everybody thinks that
Right.
was all planned. A lot of times, I think we might get some credit for some things that might have just happened versus hey, Nike really planned all that out.
Right.
So.
Hey, listen, we got a couple of quick minutes left, and I still have a lot of stuff I want to cover, so I'm going to cut right to the chase here. You may be in a position where you interview others that are looking to come in your specific team. I'm not sure you'll let me know. And you obviously interviewed somewhere in your past. It may have been recently for a promotion or maybe 13 years ago. I don't know. But interviewing, it is such a dance, and it's something that I always want to share and have, more importantly, have someone like yourself share. Maybe you can answer a two-part question. You can take one or the other. Maybe there was something that you did that you were given feedback after the fact that really helped separate yourself from competition. Or maybe it's been someone that you've interviewed and that person came in and just really wowed you or raised your eyebrows and something that person did. Anything you can share on either one of those two questions?
I think as far as what somebody had done that really impressed me, a lot of it has to do with the preparation ahead of time. Have they done their homework? Do they know who the players are? Do they know what we do, and more importantly, why we do it? I have interviewed just recently for different positions. I've got interviews in a couple days that we're filling another position. So a lot of it has to do with what's that preparation when they come in. If they come in, you're asking just basic questions about the business,
Right.
about what we do, why we do it. If they can't, if they didn't take the time and effort to research that, then they're probably not the best candidate. I think one thing that one interviewer did or interviewee did that really impressed me was at the end of the interview, he basically asked a very simple question: what is it that I haven't told you to convince you that I'm the right candidate for the job? And you're basically saying, I'm the right guy, right? And if I'm not, why not? And that kind of really zeroed in and narrowed in on and brought the conversation to
Good question.
A good
laying it out there.
point. So yeah.
Nike is just like any other company, and not to put Nike, it isn't like any other company, but in a certain way, based on the number of employees and the global reach that you have, and everyone's out there. That's such a competitive space, whether you're talking about the apparel business or any other segment within the sports industry as a whole. Where would you? What's good? Maybe this is a personal question, but again, it's about interviewing, where people are trying to make their mark and come in and doing something either creative on the informational interview or something creative on the resume, something creative after the fact. But some people, everyone's trying to get noticed somehow in the positive way without going over the top.
Right.
What can you share to today's candidates that are out there looking for jobs, not necessarily Nike, but anywhere, about how they can creatively market themselves without going over the top, but it's really going to make a difference for them?
Yeah, it's really a fine line, because you can, you come in. I've been in interviews where people bringing cupcakes or this or that, and there's so it's a fine line. Somebody brought in cupcakes and balloons and all this. It was like, I just want to show you how excited I am, to want to get the job. And we always do panel interviews at Nike, and the consensus was, well, everybody should be excited about trying to come in and get a job, whether it's at Nike or anywhere else. But I think it's more the subtle things. One person gave us all notebooks or just blank notepads with a cover on it. And on the cover, he had embossed, I think it was 1,420. And that was just the number. And he said, hey, I just want to, at the end of the interview, he said, after he passed those out, he just said, I just wanted to point out the significance of that number. That's the number of miles that I drove out to Beaverton, Oregon, to try to work at Nike. That shows you my commitment and my passion and all those things. And then you're like, it's that subtle thing that you don't really, it's not beating you over the head, but.
Right, because it is a fine line. Everyone's trying to create their mark, but you can't go over the top necessarily, and you have to find that balance.
I think the most important thing, though, is for people that I'm interviewing, is once again, have they done that research to really know what I'm looking for?
Right.
And like I mentioned to you before this, and I always talk to anyone who asks me trying to get hired at Nike, it's all about who you know. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's who you know. Do you know the guy that's interviewing? Who, people will tell me, hey, I know these 4 guys at Nike. And I'm like, well, that's great. I know those 4 guys too. That doesn't help me. What I'm looking for is when I hire you, I'm hiring your network.
Right.
So when I hire you, I want to know who you know. Who do you know that's out in the industry? Who do you know that I don't know that's going to bring value and add value to what we're trying to do here at Nike? And if that list is short, you're not going to have a very good chance to get the job. But if I can talk to you and you can pick up the phone and make 1 or 2 phone calls and get an answer on anything in basketball, you're going to be a great candidate for the job.
Speaking of who you know, I mean, networking is also such a huge element of today's process. It's a process to try to get an informational interview or maybe get granted a official interview, if you will. Right. I asked you this kind of before we hit play and go here, but if you had to shortlist, if someone came up to you that obviously you knew and that you trusted, and they said, hey, listen, Mike, would you guide me? 2 or 3 key elements, strategies that I can implement that'll help my networking to get me to where I want to be. How would you answer them? How would you guide someone?
You know what, to be honest with you, I'm not the best networker.
Then we're going to switch questions.
Yeah. I'm not the best networker, but that is important. And I think networking, doing it in the right way, if you only contact somebody and only networking somebody and it's clear to them that you're only trying to get to know them, that's going to benefit you, that doesn't work well with you. But if you strategically look at who are the decision makers, who are the impact people, who can I learn from, and then go and have a relationship with them. It's more about trying to have a relationship of hey, touching base more than just, hey, I just got this interview, can I put you down as a reference? It's like, well, hey, I haven't talked to you in 6 months. So, but if it's something where it's, hey, whatever I can do for you, that type of thing, I think is a much better way to go.
I don't think I'm going to stump you anymore. I think we'll hold it right there. Mike Hackman, appreciate you taking the time.